Hi, Kim. Can you please further explain inner conversations with your higher self and maybe give an example? Yes, I can. Jenna Rose Query. In case you're new to me and you don't know what Jenna means, I explain how I manifested my current relationship and the many life changes I have experienced since the month of September of last year. Well, the month of September was not the beginning of my manifestation journey, clearly, but it was where my manifestation game got tweaked. Meaning, the moment I understood what states mean, what states of consciousness mean, and what they mean to manifestation, conscious manifestation, that changed the game for me, right? That was a big light bulb moment for me, and that was a few years ago. But from that point until about September, I had been riding, the train. I had a lot of amazing moments, so I'm not trying to go poo-poo on that time frame on my journey. It was fun. But about March of last year, this girl started getting unsatisfied. A little bit of boredom, a little bit of I think there's more. So how do I get there? Well, that scared the shit out of me. So I would put Band-Aids on that and try to shut that down up here. Like, no, I'm happy. I'm good. Everything's good. Everything's status quo. Nothing to worry about. I'm fine. I'm just okay with just okay. I clearly was lying to myself. But it felt too scary to allow myself to think truthfully that I was feeling the way I was really feeling. Well, come September of last year, all those Band-Aids were ripped off all at the same time. It was very scary and uncomfortable, and I was stuck in a really shitty state, and hence the tweaking of my manifestation game. Meaning I realized that I had become a little bit too reliant on the 3D validation, which is, in my opinion, never beneficial on this journey. Because we're going to be annoyed, frustrated, reactive, responding to anytime something farts sideways. That's not fun to me. I don't want to live like that. I want to be happy every day. I want to not be afraid of circumstances. I want to know that if what I call a terrible circumstance happens, that I don't have to shit myself. I know I can decide who I want to be, and then my 3D will, change, handle itself, melt away, whatever words feel good to you. That's who I want to be. I want to be the girl unafraid of her 3D reality. I want to be the girl that is confidently in the knowing that if I want it, I can have it, period. And if that means a specific person, then that means a specific person. If that means a specific dollar amount in my bank account, then that's what it means. I want what I want. But being reliant on the 3D is not fun. And that's where I was. And I had also, not been very satisfied with my relationship for various reasons. And I wanted change. But I was scared to admit that because I was afraid of what it would do to my 3D, right? Well, what does that mean? That meant I was being a very, very limited version of myself. That's what I was being. And I didn't want to be the girl that is afraid of circumstances, afraid of her 3D, but yet I was still very afraid of it. So I fell into a shit state. My 3D very quickly validated that shit state, which only added to my panic. And I had to make some decisions, and I had to really get authentic to who I really believed I was. So I did. I got really real, really raw with myself, and finally said things out loud that I had been afraid to, meaning like owning up to what I really believed about myself. And I made a list of what I want each part of my life to look like, right? Every area in my life, this is what I want it to look like. This is how I want it to make me feel. This is how I want to feel when I wake up in the morning. I want to wake up in the morning loving my life and knowing I have whatever I want. And I know how that sounds, but that's the best way to describe it. I want to wake up cocky, confident that life is amazing. Life is amazing, and everything I want is coming to me. I have nothing to fear. That's how I want to wake up every day, feeling like that. And I want to experience joy. Like, I want to have moments where it feels surreal how good life is. I want that. I want that, and I believe that's possible. So I started, and I know this is going to sound weird, but I started having what I will call like a hybrid inner conversation with my higher self. Because it felt like I was talking to my higher self. But listen, it could have been God. It could have been a passed away family member. I just knew I was having a conversation with a deeper part of me. Right? But it could also be an affirmation. It could be me affirming. So I call it a hybrid inner conversation / affirmation. So I began telling myself, most of the time I was telling myself in past tense or in present tense, meaning I'm living it right now. On days that I was struggling because my 3D sucked tits and I was full of anxiety and fear, on those days, the most I could do was say I was becoming, okay? So I told you, I made my list. Well, my list was my new self or new version of self, new version of Kim list. I started talking to myself as if my life was already that I was already in that 3D. And I would say things to myself. This is where the inner conversation part comes in. I would say to myself, oh my God, I did it. I finally did it. I'm here. I'm finally the me that's experiencing everything I want in literally every area of my life. I did it. I'm finally here. I'm in the most amazing relationship of my life. I am finally fulfilled in love. I know what that means now. I understand what unconditional love means now. I feel that way. I feel chosen. I feel wanted, desired. Everything that you can think of, that's me now. That's who I am. So when I say everything, I mean, you don't have to say my word for word. Say the words that feel good to you. But I would just keep saying that to myself. That's who I am now. I did it. I'm finally here. So, like I said, there were days where I couldn't say I am that. I would say I'm becoming that. And I would allow myself to get carried away in my imagination, like daydreaming or wishing of what my life would be like if I was living that right now, right? That kind of carried away. Because I don't have the limited belief that daydreaming is not visualizing. I don't have that limited belief. So when I daydream, I'm fully believing that if this is something I return to, that this is going to manifest just like anything else, right? So I would get lost in it. I would get lost, especially, the connection. I don't know. I think there's a mind-body connection, but it was a lot of times when I first wake up in the morning and when I would working out. When I was working out, that was my favorite time of the day. And I would immerse myself in the experience of me being that new me. And I would just talk to myself out loud like I'm having a conversation with my higher self. Like, girl, we did it. I'm here. And I thoroughly enjoyed that. But as soon as I was done, I would fall right back out, go back to crying, go back to panicking, go back to, what are you doing? What are you doing? You're messing up your whole life. Get out of the state, you know? Because I'm a human, just like you're a human. We have our moments. I was having moments. And it was the whole month of September. I would say that, yes, it gradually got better. It was like an explosion went off in October for me, though. Meaning, by the middle of October-ish, my mind was blown at how quickly things were changing. Meaning, I was experiencing things. I'm telling you, it was like literally the full 30 days of September. But October 1st came and I noticed I was feeling different. Like for the better, but different. And come the second, third week-ish, I was, how life was changing. And everything that I told myself, right? Hey girl, I'm here. I made it. I'm finally here. They're all here. They all manifested. And remember how I said the moments of surrealness, that you're going to have those moments of, oh my God, this is so surreal. I really had those moments. They manifested, meaning there were countless times over the last, it's almost a year, right? It's July. Over the last year where I'm literally saying out loud, this is surreal. This is literally what I told myself. Like word for word, what I told myself I was experiencing, right? Because in their conversation, it was I'm experiencing or I have experienced. But it's really here. It really manifested. And don't get me wrong, what carried me through September was I did have a healthy trust and belief that manifestation is real and it really does work, and that change your state of consciousness, the 3D will change. So I did have that, you know, to lean on. And I understand when you're new, maybe you don't have that to lean on. Hence why you want to be testing the law all the time so you build up your faith. So it was scary because I felt trapped in a state, but at the same time, I had a little comfort of knowing I know this works. I know it does. Just no one wants their 3D to get uncomfortable. No one wants to experience that. And I was putting more time in focusing on that and fearing that than I was in deciding who to be. So September, I got real. I got really real with who I was or who I was believing I was. I made a decision of who I wanted to be, and boom, my life has never been the same, and I have never been happier. And when I say, you know, like as an affirmation, I am the version of myself in the most amazing, loving, fulfilling, committed relationship, I am literally having that experience. Literally. It fully manifested. Again, yes, I had the healthy belief that I knew that it would, but the fear of the when certainly was there. And the fear of, you know, what if I can't get out of this state? What if I'm stuck with a shitty existence because I'm stuck in the state? It was the state. It was my perception that I felt the fear from. But long story short, wow, life couldn't be better. So that's why I know. Ask yourself, who do you really believe you are and who do you want to be? And put the focus there. And tell yourself that's who you are now. And just allow. Trust and allow. What do I mean by that? I mean, don't be staring at that 3D every day and telling yourself that it's not working, it hasn't changed, life still sucks. No, that's you choosing to be that version of yourself. You deny the senses and return to who you need to be. And by need to be, I mean the version of you that's having what you want. Even if you don't believe it. I didn't believe it. I did not feel like new self. I felt like the total opposite. I just refused to go back to being old Kim. And that matters. Meaning you gotta want to be new self more than staying old self. And victim states can be very tricky because for as much as we're unhappy in the victim state, if we've had a lifetime of disappointments, it unfortunately feels more natural and normal to be in a victim state. So it feels scary stepping out of it. We feel more comfortable being a victim. And that was me, for whatever. Yeah, Poop didn't like that. She did not like me in victim state. So don't be afraid. If you're believing things are against you out here, you're in a victim state. My God. You have the power of the I am behind you. Right? Oh, be nice. You've nothing to fear. Never, ever, ever. Nothing to fear. And if you are fearing, and if you are afraid of your 3D, you're thinking logically. Yes, being new self feels so much better. It makes it easy to return when falling out. Yes. Yes, my girl.